Hello everybody and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, I'm a beard oil salesman. I'm back today for another episode of Once Upon a Time, our D&D5E video game where you guys can come along and play Dungeons and Dragons with us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come along and play with us, you can sign up for free on our Discord channel. But let's go around the cast and the crew today. Let's remind ourselves of who we are and who we're playing today. And we have Susanna Grace back in the DM seat tonight. Susie, how's it going today?
Hello, it's going well, thank you, Will. How are you today? Beyond being a beard oil salesman now?
It's a new career line. I'm very excited about it. Thank you for asking. Yeah,
it's great. It's cool. I'm excited. I have a fun game planned tonight. Any similarities to any maybe popular video games that have just come out are purely coincidental and not because I've been playing them a lot recently. Just as a disclaimer, we can't get sued for it.
Yep. Legally distinct. That's because we've given this disclaimer. No one can sue us. So that's how that works. Yep. We have Madame Gandalf back with us today. Madame Gandalf, how's it going?
It's going all right. Glad to get some D&D escapism in this week. It's always good for a nice bit of rejuvenation of, just rejuvenation in general and to flex those imagination muscles. And I'm excited to bring out my little reprobate Sooty and all of her adorable little antics and weird antics and just antics. I'm ready for the antics.
Fantastic. We got Cleric of Cord back with us today. Cleric, how's it going?
It's going well. Beard salesman. I think, that's would do. Yeah. Nice idea.
Yep.
I'm Kat, also at Cleric of Cord, and I'm playing Due Diligence. I love him. He's so much fun, especially when there are gnomes around. It's even more fun because then I get to throw fireballs. But he's done his due diligence. The pamphlets are ready. The rules are written, and he is reporting for duty.
Fantastic. Last but not least, we have Void Melodies with us today. How's it going today, my friend?
Hello, I'm excellent. I'm Raz, also known as Void Melodies. They, them pronouns, if it comes up. I am playing Nyx, our gender-fluid little rogue, who is bound to get into a little chaos, a little trouble, and who knows what else.
Fantastic. As for myself, I'll be playing Finbar, the half-elf bard, who's a terrible person, and I suspect that things went well last week in his absence. So, I'm looking forward to ruining things all over again for everyone, because that's what I like to do. But hey, before we get started today, I remind you guys of a couple of things. The first of which is we're sponsored today by Fantasy Grounds. Go to fantasygrounds.com. You can download the demo version for free on Steam or on their website. And of course, whalengames.co.uk is a go-to destination for tabletop board games, war games, and more at up to 20% off the retail value. You can go to www.beardoil.com to check out my latest sales over there. I've got a full range of beard oils. Actually, you have to do www.beardoil.com/willsbeards, and you'll find it there. Last but not least, diceenvy.com, the place to go to get all your dice needs. They sell some incredible subscription boxes that you can get sent to your house every single month for as low as just $5. So go and check those guys out over there. If you haven't already checked out this tweet, go ahead and retweet it for us. Last but by no means least, you can donate to affect the game as well by giving players Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges, and worse. Speaking of which, Isriva donates £15 to give 2 Wild Magic Surges for myself and 1 for Madame Gandalf, so I'll get rolling those. And while we do that, I'll hand over to our wonderful DM, Susie, to remind us of what happened last week on the show and to take us into tonight's episode of Once Upon a Time.
Well, it's kind of hard to describe what happened last week. They were presented with a very simple situation. A princess in a tower needed smooching, and, well, there was a fight with a dragon. There was a window being made in a wall of thorns. There was a lot of vicious mockery flung here or there, a couple of poison breaths, as it was a green dragon. There was Then Special Agent Charming arrived on the scene to swoop in at the last second and smooch the princess, who was, we should say, was Briar Rose, who is a local celebrity in Thailandia, who was throwing a huge party. She'd snubbed local fashion editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine, Mallory Effercent, from this party, and unknowingly, Mallory Effercent was actually a very powerful evil witch who put a curse on Briar Rose for this heinous snub, which caused the entire town to fall asleep. So, they rushed to the castle, fought Mallory Effercent, defeated her, knocked her out, made their way to the castle. In comes Special Agent Charming, intending to switch the princess. A series of spells and horrible things flung at Special Agent Charming that ended up with them at one point frozen in place, covered in grease and on fire. They also cast darkness on the staircase and then punched holes in the staircase in an attempt to, I don't know, break his neck as he tried to climb to the tower, as they made their way to the princess's tower. There was then... What else did you do to him? Throw him out of a window at some point, probably? No. You climbed the tower, were just about to smooch the princess, saw that Officer Bob was leaning in for the smooch, stopped Officer Bob from getting the smooch. Special Agent Charming climbed the side of the tower, showed up, another hold person was thrown on him, he failed the save, you put him in the closet, barred it with a hammer.
Where he belongs.
Maylene got the smooch. Her and Briar Rose became besties. Officer Bob learnt about consent. And then somewhere along the line, Special Agent Charming had a wild magic surge in which he was covered in scales and was oozing cream from his paws. Direct. That didn't take long at all. We got him.
It went exactly how I wanted it to. This is weird. I had this image in my mind of what happened. It was bad.
Ejected from the tower, vowed his revenge on Finley and his group of roundabout rascals. As you also noticed, Mallory Efferson was on the floor with one hand. Maylene robbed her shoes and her jewelry.
We did not do the hand. That was strictly on Agent Charming.
Because you had manacled a whole person, Charming, to Mallory Efferson while she was unconscious. So a frozen man was manacled to an unconscious woman.
Yes, we were trying to keep them in place so they couldn't escape.
Yeah, so as we learnt last week,
There was method to the madness.
Yet another case
Just doing
solved
due diligence.
by these crack detectives.
Amazing. Incredible.
So,
just exactly how I imagined it, actually. Yeah.
how did your wild magic surges go?
Okay, so my first one is when I die, I am found to have been remotely controlled. Remote controlled Finbar.
Okay.
No one will ever suspect. I'm like the.
Who do we give remote to?
You're right. And I have a flawless sense of direction 50% of the time.
15% of the time it works every time.
Exactly. I can roll yours if you like, but I'm going off for Tutti. Roll that here one up.
Oh,
EP5 12 is all weapons within 50 yards have a +2 to hit until their next hit. Hey, that's kind of useful. That's an actually useful one.
Hey, thanks, Joe.
Well, there you go. There we have it.
And also, I'm a robot, so me and due diligence are about to get along really well.
Watch your parts, due diligence is coming for you. So
USB slot.
we begin this week with you folks sitting in the stable as you do. The captain is in his office as he does. But today you have a new recruit with you. a roguish sort of person is hanging out by Mayleen's empty desk. Kind of looking out, not sure where to be right now.
You are not Maylene.
No. No, I'm not.
Have you committed a crime?
I certainly hope not.
You do have to tell
Then
us
you need-
legally. If you're a criminal,
Yes.
you have to say. Because we're the police. That's how
Yes.
it works.
Well, then no. In this case, I have not.
Excellent. I have a
Keep us
pamphlet for
updated
you.
on that.
Here are the rules. And then arm comes up out of the top of his head and hands you a dot matrix pamphlet.
Their flesh kind of ripples softly, and their hair flutters from kind of a golden to a silvery tone, and they lean forward in interest. And they look at the rules, and they shake their head. No, thank you.
Well, that's a first. That's never happened before.
You've never had someone just
no,
say
thank you.
no.
Which do you object? The captain getting his coffee? Bloom before boom? The
I
Finbar
have
is
no
always right.
objection. I have no objection to these rules. I just, no thank you. I don't need your paper, is what I meant.
Oh, you already have the rules memorized. Very
Or you got
good.
a
That's
copy.
impressive. Yes.
Useful.
Excellent.
That's impressive.
But just for
I think
everybody, just for the benefit of everyone who may not have tuned in last week and seen how these rules are blossoming into a list of commandments, as it were, could you please, due diligence, inform us of these 7 rules?
Rule number 1, the captain must always have his coffee. Rule number 2, no kink shaming. Rule number 3, always have a warrant. Rule number 4, Finbar is always right. Rule number 5, we don't talk about the rocking horse. We don't talk about that. Rule number 6, you must be buried in a Hawaiian shirt. And rule number 7, bloom before boom.
Thank you very
Very
much.
wise. Very wise. All of them.
Oh, and the front desk is a mimic.
Oh, yes.
That's the other thing they don't tell you at orientation.
That is something
see.
I did forget in the summary. The front desk is alive. It has a wife and children.
Their school
We
desk.
may have killed it
Very
last week and then brought it back to life. It was a very roller coaster emotional ride.
I'll
So
make sure to
sorry,
donate to its cause.
So sorry, I
We're
missed the
starting a
antics last week.
GoFundMe for it.
Oh,
We're starting a
that's good.
GoFundMe.
Goodness, well, I hope
Excellent.
someone adds to that. I was away at a gala for my new underwear line. Offshoot of
wonder
absolute
Maylene was-
heresies.
Boxers or briefs? Boxers or briefs?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I can show you the new catalog if you're
briefs.
interested. Yes, invariably. Highly specialized and in many cases highly flammable as well. So it's best to be careful. But if you wish to go for the catalog, I'll show you. I'm wearing a new pair today, which I think is going to give me an extra bit of pep in my step. If you know.
Hit me up.
It's like Finbar's secrets, but everybody
Right.
knows
Yes.
them.
right.
Well, I
That's the
should
genius.
hope so.
Right.
I
Yes,
I
it's
should
the
hope
secret
so.
that we all know. Exactly.
As you guys
Yes.
are chatting amongst yourselves,
Screw Victoria, by the way. Her secrets are shit. No one knows them.
But you already screwed Victoria.
Well, that's
And then-
neither here nor there. Diligence. She totally stole my idea.
as you folks are talking, the captain walks out and he seems to be, he's carrying a magazine with him. It's not the glossy gossip mag of last week. This one seems to be like
Oh, thank God.
a sort of a higher brow scientific magazine. And you can see on the front there's some sort of headline, a lot of scientific mumbo jumbo about a corporation, a hood corporation that it seems to be positive, regardless through all the scientific mumbo jumbo. And the captain seems to be reading it as he walks out, and he looks down at the magazine and just looks up and goes, "Where's Meline today?"
My God, I didn't even realize she wasn't here.
I think she's sick. Sick, right? Sick?
I don't
Sick.
know.
And Sudi's gonna wink to everybody.
She's definitely ill in a lot of ways. So
Totally not going to a concert. Definitely sick.
I see.
Oh, right, yes. I gave her all those drugs.
I see.
From contraband.
What is it that you're reading, Captain? A novel idea for someone like you to read.
Okay, I would like Sooty and Due Diligence to roll me insight checks, please, because you two were here last week, and you two know about the gossip mag.
$20. Everybody loves a 20. We're really in tune with
that's a
the
20
captain this week.
A 25 from Due Diligence. You're muted, by the way, Clark. Oh no. Oh, we've lost her. Nope. Still can't hear you.
Good Lord.
There we go.
Technology. Well, I'm a Warforged.
Okay, so you two can see right through the captain's shit. You know he is super overcompensating after being busted with a gossip mag last week, and he's grabbed like this highbrow sort of brochure about the inner workings of science and corporations and medicine and something that's like as far removed as trashy gossip mag as you can get.
Captain, if you wish to discuss the latest on AI and automated service droids, I would be happy to talk with you about that. It's a subject to my heart.
Perhaps I shall take you up on that one day, Due Diligence. But no, I was just reading here about the Hood Corporation and their unconventional new techniques and attitudes. I don't know if you've heard about the founder, Lord Robin Hood. He believes in levying taxes against the rich so he can provide affordable pharmaceuticals for the poor.
God,
Isn't he Little Red's brother?
taxing the rich?
We're not rich,
we're
Finbar. It
rich.
doesn't affect us. No, we're not rich.
I have a substantial amount of gold buried. I mean,
You're not rich,
I'm not rich, no.
Finbar. No,
But also
no,
I-
it does not affect you. No, you have nothing to worry about. We
I
are
mean,
we are public servants. We are not rich.
Right, I don't take any bribes. Ever.
No,
As well,
No.
you should not.
or
Finbar.
paychecks.
What is this?
No, you should be taking your
ridiculous idea of
paychecks.
Taxing rich people. They've gotten rich for good reasons. Because they're better than
Well-
other people.
It's like you making captain, sir.
We tax poor people for good reasons, as far as I'm concerned. They give us, the rich people, more stuff, and then rich people, it all trickles down.
And the poor people use the services that they pay for.
Right.
Why pay for a service? It's like that extra channel on the magic box.
Nyx just kind of wanders away and starts looking around the room like they're looking for something to do.
Sooty's just going to keep reading over the rule that Finbar is always right. Finbar is always right. She's like,
Oh, shit.
I'm not entirely sure where you got your degree in economics from, Finbar, but that doesn't sound entirely correct to me. Regardless, there's some very interesting things in here. There's a Dr. R. Punzel working for the HUD Corporation. She's developing some unconventional new therapies. Intriguing
Oh?
things, intriguing stuff. Well, it's
I'd
not
love
obviously
to-
listed in here because the Hood Corporation keep things very close to their chest, but she might have a way to heal many ailments. It's impressive. It's impressive work.
Electroshock therapy is very, very handy. And the spark starts flying between his fingertips.
Yes, I've read your reports about your particular electroshock therapy too.
Anonymous dispensation.
Uh-oh.
I take her in a £50 donation. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Mallory Efferson falls madly in love with Finbar, but in a creepy and kind of terrifying way. Oh my goodness. It's happening again. Oh god.
no. Okay.
That's amazing to
Okay.
you.
So while the captain is midway through explaining to you what he's been reading about, the sending stone at his hip beeps a couple of times, and you see him bring it up to his ear. Hello. Oh, hello, Mallory. Yes, I'm at work right now. Finbar? Yes, he's here. Yes. No, he's on duty. He can't take personal
No, I
calls.
won't. I'm completely free. I wasn't doing anything interesting. I take the phone. Yep. Finbar. Of
Hello, Finbar.
Finbar's Absolute Heresy. Yeah. Who are you?
Yes, I'm Mallory Efferson. You may know me from Vogue magazine.
I read it ostensibly. For the
current-
interesting current events,
Listen-
mostly.
Listen, Finbar, darling. We've been reading about your underwear, your Absolute Heresy lines, and I feel like we should do a special spread, if you know what I mean, in the magazine.
No, I absolutely do know what you mean in terms of a magazine spread. It's with a double page one, right? That's not the single page. It's the,
No, it's
two
a
pages.
double page. Yes.
right. Good.
You want the bad skin.
Yes. Well, I have with me some friends / models that I think would do well to help model these. Should we come along now?
Oh, no. I'll let you finish your important work, I'm sure.
It's really not
But,
important. I'm
How
fairly
about
doing
after
Yeah.
after your shift, you come and meet me at a local restaurant with some of your samples, and we can hammer out a deal. What do you say?
When you say samples,
Underwear, Finbar.
right? It's just I go to several different. I guess you could call them banks, and anyway, yes, that sounds reasonable. Reasonable. Very good. I will see you later tonight. Then. Let's see.
Ciao, and she hangs up. And the captain is stood
Nixon.
there with his hand out.
I high five.
Has her hand grown back?
I'm
she
not
didn't say
entirely
anything
sure
about her hands.
if her hand has grown back. Due diligence. What did you say Nix was about to do, Void?
Nyx just trots over to Finbar and will casually change their shape between a feminine shape and a masculine shape, and a feminine shape and a masculine shape. Models, you say? Do you pay well?
I have you heard of exposure? Because I've got a whole lot of it, and also some money, but largely.
He
if
sometimes
you're in the
pays
business-
people in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you heard of paying me?
You have some remarkable talents. How about I'll give you a good word to Mallory when I have a conversation with her later, and if all goes according to plan, then I think we can work something out. I mean, this way I don't have to hire multiple models. You can be my muse.
Muse. That's a new one. I think we can work together.
All right.
As you two are chatting about becoming Finbar's model, please reconsider. The door to the stable slams open, and you see a large figure, very broad and tall, the head of a hippopotamus, gray skin, and he's dressed in a very, very fine military outfit, pulled tight over quite a large pot belly. And he says, I say, is this the TPD?
Are you related to Constable Bob?
Is
Can't say I know the chap, no.
Okay. Yes, this is the TPD.
Excellent, excellent. I'm with the Sorcery, Thieving, and Roguery Division, and you see him adjust a monocle. We've had a distress beacon from one of TPD's own, and I need you to go in there.
Wait, what?
Well, then I-
why? Are you our boss now?
At this point, Captain Colt is like,
What's going on?
I forgot. what
We're gonna
Colt
need
said.
more hay.
He says, Lieutenant Powderkeg, quite an unconventional entrance, but can we assist you in some way? And he says, adjusts his monocle and smiles and says, yes, I am Lieutenant Hurst Powderkeg, what, and I need your assistance. One of your fellow officers has alerted us to a situation unfolding currently.
Our
Situation.
assistance or the captain's assistance?
Your assistance.
Our
More
assistance.
with assistance? Like an intern?
What about persistence?
Maylene is off this week,
Oh, right.
and the gnome put himself in prison. No, the dwarf. It was the dwarf. The dwarf that sent himself to prison. That was the last intern that survived.
So there's something going on somewhere, and you need us to look into it somehow.
Not look into it. There's a hostage situation. My men are too
hostage?
close. They know who we are, but
Is
they don't know who you are.
A lot of people have heard of me.
You're not
Next
that
just
the badge? I
smiles.
think the badge gives it away.
Kind of a big deal, but I mean, I could try. So, hostage
He's had
situation.
a lot of
Who's been-
exposure.
A lot of exposure. I've been exposed. I've exposed myself as well, many a time, and I've paid dearly for it. But tell me, who's been captured?
We received a distress beacon from Constable Bob, I believe is now his new title. Is that correct?
Yes.
Bob has been.
The promotion. Yes, the promotion. Finbar. We promoted Officer Bob. He's now Constable Bob.
Good Lord, why?
He was the
Bubble.
first up the tower.
Honestly,
800 at 0800 hours this morning, Constable Bob's emergency distress beacon alerted us to a problem. He managed to get through a few words that he is being held hostage at a tower on the Spengler estate. Now my men have the tower surrounded, but we cannot enter.
Honestly, Bob is a simpleton. He may have just pressed his emergency distress beacon button himself. He would have no idea about it. And
Bob is
second
very good
question
at getting into towers.
Well, I mean, that is true. Getting out of them is not altogether another issue. He may have gotten in and is now unable to get out. Second question, which I feel none of us are asking here, it's a really important ethical question, is it worth our time to save someone like Bob? I mean, not just Bob, but the idea of someone like Bob, like a real idiot, someone who is so useless at basic functions and tasks.
he is very
Are
good
we
at doubles.
Well, are we doing society a favor by letting someone capture Bob? Maybe they'll find a use for him.
Well,
At
I
this
say it
point,
sounds like
Captain-
fun.
At this point, Captain Colt steps forward and says, need I remind you, Finbar, that Constable Bob has a higher case closed rate than you do. His
You-
paperwork is always handed in on time, and it is complete.
I don't believe in paperwork, Captain, as you well
Due
know.
diligence just
And-
kind of shrinks.
And also, yes, you did need to remind me of that because I had forgotten. So, there's that.
Constable Bob is one of our finest officers, and we cannot afford to lose him. So if you don't
Can't
want
help
to
it.
willingly go to help someone who has befriended you, by the way, and trusts you a great deal, I will
Which is what I'm
order
saying.
you to go and rescue him.
Now I will have
Not
to
my
do
fault
it.
the ink cartridge ran out.
Nyx just shrugs. This sounds like fun. I'm in.
Captain Cole comes over to you and puts his hand on like where the shoulder would be. I know, due diligence, it's not your fault that Finbar makes you do his paperwork. You do an excellent job. You already work too hard.
Too hard.
Uh-oh. What have I done?
Finbar said you can't get too hard.
In that rare case, I was wrong. As I learned to my own peril.
Oh my gosh.
I will do better, sir. I will.
All right. Well,
Did Finbar just break rule number 4?
I'm a mercurial man.
There's a shatter.
Break it.
Sooty's world crumbles around her.
I'm unpredictable. And
A
also
single
robot.
tear.
Right, Spangler Tower it is. Find Corporal Bob and free him from this spangling in which he has entangled himself.
Does it have stars over it?
It may very well be a star-spangled mansion.
Captain Colt says, Spangler Manor. I know that name. And then he looks back at his magazine. He goes, that's near where the Hood Corporation have their laboratory. Now, I'm sure there's no correlation there, but that's an interesting tidbit, isn't it?
Would you like to go with us, Captain?
No. I'll leave this in your capable hands. It is south of Thailandia. 3 hours away. Easily accessible.
Is it in our jurisdiction?
Yes. Just.
That's lucky. Just about.
But if you went with us, we would get there faster.
Anything
No.
over 3 hours is out of our jurisdiction. All right, well, find Bob. Anything else you want us to do? Is it necessary that Bob comes back, let's say, intact?
Yes, it is.
What about alive?
Absolutely so, Finbar.
What if he comes back even more dumb than he is now?
Well, then he will be put on leave and discharged with all the honors he has rightfully earned.
Donuts for life.
Sounds like the best option.
That's
Yes.
honestly. Especially the discharge part. All right, let's...
You got your
let's
shots
find
for
him.
that.
Behind me now. Let's just find him, I guess. And if he's there, he's there. If he's not, is there any big?
Are we
loss
going
in the world?
undercover?
Yes.
Dude
Say we've
pulls
got-
out his disguise kit. I've been waiting to use this.
Undercover. At this point, Lieutenant Powderkeg says, yes, undercover might just work. What did you have in mind?
Well, I was thinking that we would go under the covers, and I didn't mean undercover as in we'll be disguised. I mean underneath the bed covers is where I'm going to be.
Well,
Someone's
that
bed.
is your expertise. Yes.
Exactly. It's my natural habitat. It's my preferred environment. It's my I'm acclimatized to it. So I'm going to find someone's bed within this mansion. I'll be in there, in that bed.
So
Doing
who
my
would
thing.
be a good person to get into the Spangler Mansion?
Well, it occurs to me that Nyx has a range of abilities that could be useful in a situation like this. Obviously, I'll slip in through a window somewhere, find a nearby bed, and just bunker down and just do my thing. See what's under those covers, go fully undercover, as it were. While the rest of you, sort of a pincer move, Nyx at the forefront of it. Maybe the two of you could be, I don't know, Nyx's
I could
accomplices.
disguise myself as Constable Bob. Confuse the situation.
That would confuse me too.
Oh, yes, that might just work. Excellent forethought. Have you ever thought of joining the stars?
No, sir.
What?
There might be a
I try
career
not to
there
think.
for you. Well, think on it.
Mhm.
Don't go putting thoughts into these people's heads. Nix, do you have something in mind? You seem like you might have some mental capacity. Unlike that man. I point towards the powder keg dude.
You might say that. Well, what sort of manner of critter or a problem maker are we dealing with in the tower, so to speak? Do we know?
Good
That's the
question.
thing, we just don't know. He had Officer Bob radioed down for assistance, but since we've not been able to get back in touch with him, we hear screams, which we assume are his, coming from the tower. It does sound rather dull, and well, we haven't quite been able to approach the tower, as there is another voice inside that says that if we get any closer, she'll kill him. So we are trying to bide our time, and that's why I thought we could send you in. Now, she hasn't contacted further for any sort of demands.
You know,
I see.
now that I know who we're dealing with here, I think perhaps I could be useful. I mean, I do have an effect on women, and often
They scream
it's not a
a
positive
lot.
one. Yes, but you know, maybe there's something there that we could work towards, and you know, maybe Nix and I present ourselves as two Finbars,
I was just thinking the same thing.
sort of like
Due
a
diligence.
Ah,
And due diligence, meanwhile, has got his disguise kit out and is currently making himself up as Constable Bob.
Okay.
that happens.
Like a smaller Constable Bob.
so,
And
Yes.
this
Finbar and
I have-
Finbar.
Mm,
Mhm.
so what about me?
Yeah.
How am I getting in?
well, Bob is large, and maybe, and due diligence has a whole lot of compartments. Maybe you could hide inside one of due diligence's compartments.
He
Per
opens
se.
up a large compartment and pulls out the
Alright.
coffee maker and sets it aside. Next comes out a large dot matrix printer. That gets set aside. Several stacks of volumes of police procedure law books are taken out, set aside. Half a dozen sets of manacles. Those get set aside. This should be enough.
And Sooty's just gonna try and like wriggle inside the compartment.
Okay.
If you
Sorry, go ahead.
If you need something to read, here's my spell book. And he hands you what looks like an IKEA manual.
Oh, this is fantastic. I've always wanted to. Okay. How do you pronounce this one? I can't read any of these instructions.
Neither can I. I follow the pictures.
Okay.
That's
If
the
you, I
best
tell you
kind
what,
of
Sudi,
spell book.
if you write it down on a little notepad, just the numbers, somewhere around here, there's a warehouse. When you go there, into the warehouse, you've got to direct yourself around and find the spell that you're looking for in the spell warehouse.
So as
Holy shit.
as a background of City Watch, I do have expertise in disguise kits.
And I already look like Finbar.
Okay, so roll for your
I
disguise
am-
kit then. But I mean, you have
you want
expertise, so
that-
you're gonna nail it.
Yeah. Dex?
I
Yeah.
am going to go ahead and change myself into a Finbar,
Mm-hmm.
and then I am going to turn to Finbar and demand that he give me a pair of fancy underwear, because how can I be a Finbar without fancy underwear?
This is very true. I procure a pair of absolute heresy and hand them over to Nix. You're going to look great in these.
Sweet free underpants.
I'm going to look great in these.
So Dex plus proficiency. I forgot to add the 2 in there, so that's A total of 7.
Okay. An attempt is made. You've acquired
the hat, right?
Yeah, you've got the hat. You've got the old-timey, like, English Bobby hat. You know, the big... You got that popped on top of you, because that's apparently what Bob wears.
He's a Bobby.
He's a Bob...
I've been waiting for that.
You'd have thought I called him Bob on purpose for the pun, but I didn't. So, does Due Diligence have an Officer Bob voice? Or Constable Bob, sorry.
I think so.
Okay.
You sound like an idiot, so you're right on. Yeah.
All right, so after
Yes.
a bit more briefing from Lieutenant Powderkeg, who tells you exactly where to find the Spengler estate, where to find the tower, the special police cordon he's got all set up, what is in the immediate area, what to expect, which is not a whole lot. The Spengler estate is a known tourist attraction in the area. It's a big old-timey, big old house, really creepy big windows, beautiful sprawling gardens, and it's actually famous for its tower. It's just like a oh god, there's an actual name for them. I forgot what it's called. But it's just like, it's not even like a proper functioning tower. It's just something that was built by a noble at some point, so he could be like, I've got a tower in my garden kind of guy.
I have one of those. It's great.
Oh no, the name is like right here. I'll remember it.
Turret?
No. Never mind, it's not important. So you are given a ride down to the Spengler estate. A folly! Thank you. It's a folly. I knew it. It was right there. You arrive at the Spengler estate, and you see that it has been completely cleared of people. There are people gawking from behind bright yellow tape that's lined up around the exterior of this place. And there's big steel, iron gates, big iron fences, and you see like a couple of policemen stood there, and you know they've got their crossbows and weaponry on display, you know, urging people to stay back. You know, nothing to see here. Move along, move along. You are brought under the tape, all cool like CSI. They're like, come on in. You know, there's people like trying to scoop under with you, and they're like grabbed by the police and ragged back. But you are before the Spengler estate, the big mansion. There is a path leading off to the right, which is, as you were briefed by Lieutenant Powderkeg, leads you to the tower, to the back of the grounds.
Before we left, I made sure that Sooty knew how to work the vending machine in case she needed something to eat or drink during the ride over there.
There's a vending machine?
She comes out with a soft serve ice cream, like, hey!
Officer Bob reporting for duty.
Yeah, please.
I rolled a 7, and it's the best you're gonna get.
It's beautiful. I love it. You know, a police officer gives you a suspicious looking salute, but you know, he looks down and sees your actual badge like pinned to you, and he's like, okay, yeah.
This is just going to be confusing for everyone involved. You know that, right? We're not going to know if we sold the real. All right.
2 fin bars and 2 bombs and a sooty too.
Secret city.
Secret city.
The secret city service.
Secret agent city. Yes, yes.
So
It's
you
gonna
are
go well.
unaccompanied right now. Is there anything you would like to do?
Well, I guess if they could point us in the direction where they started to hear this voice shouting out at them, then we could start to converse.
Okay. So if you take the path that will lead you to the tower, that'll get you there where they heard the voice. As you walk down the tower, you you walk alongside the house, and it's very dark inside the house. There's no sort of candles lit or lanterns or anything inside. It's very, very quiet. As you're walking towards the back, there's a grand set of windows that lead to like a salon, like a fancy sort of living room. And as you walk, you kind of like glance past. And I'd like you all to make me a perception check, please.
That's
15.
3. I rolled a nat 1.
Oh no. So
Oh,
we have a
yes.
15, we have a 3. What does Finbar get? You're muted.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. And what did Nyx get?
19.
A 19. Okay, so Finbar and Nyx. As you guys, as you are walking, you kind of glance at this room. You see something move inside there. Now, as far as you were aware, the Spengler mansion was completely clear. There was nobody there. But something or someone, it was large, it was humanoid, moved.
Finbar the First.
Did
you see that?
Saw something. Yes. Remarkable.
Indeed.
Yes. Something strange is definitely going on in there.
Do we
Something-
flirt at it? Or do we
Oh.
investigate?
It's got to be the first. The go-to is to flirt at it, and then if flirting doesn't work, then I let someone else do something. I guess it's never not worked, at least for me, in some way.
Fair enough.
So,
Fair enough.
Cooey, hello.
Cooey. As you shout this at the window, you see now whatever it was that moved in there moves closer to the window, and you see it's highlighted in shadow right now. It's just a form, but it's human shaped, but the head is kind of tilted to one side, and there is something strange about the silhouette. It's broken in places. There's like seemingly tendrils coming off the head area at some point. The posture is quite slumped and strange. It's not an upright sort of posture, but as it moves closer to the window, and you see as this hand comes up and just boom on the window, you see now that this is a person wearing like a scientist's white coat, but there's something very, very wrong about them. Out of one eye, you see vines and just plant material coming out of one eye. The mouth is hung open and sort of slack. And you see as like one of the hands appears to be made of tree bark.
Suti.
And the flesh ripped away.
Roasts.
Suti.
What's
I
going on in
believe you speak with plants.
I do speak with plants, and they speak with me, and we're all part of the great big circle of life.
Bloom. Before boom. And he's
Bloom.
Dude's gonna open up the compartment, pull out Sudi, and hold it up. And can you speak to it?
Hello.
Okay,
Finbar the First. I don't think we can flirt with that.
Let's not even try. That should do her thing, and maybe there'll be something else to flirt with in a bit.
Are you casting Speak with Plants, City?
Yeah, I'll use speak with plants.
Okay, so you just hear like a low like,
Oh,
and you hear
no.
it say, "Itchy, tasty," again on the window.
Oh, you sound like you could use some water. Does anybody have any water?
In the vending machine.
Oh,
Not the Constable Bob
Michael.
has a vending machine inside.
Sooty will just open up Constable Bob. And just like, you'll just hear like the coin like...
okay, here we go. So,
And she'll just carefully pour some water on its roots and scratch its roots lightly as she does so.
Okay, as you approach and pour some water,
This is upsetting.
this tree zombie guy. You watch as the dried sort of bark on his hand seems to freshen up and doesn't look as dry. But the vines from his eye just accelerate and grow at a crazy big speed and bloom, and you get these really dark, foul-smelling flowers just erupt from his face, and he just spins around at you and lunges at you and tries to make an attack. And misses.
fuck.
I rolled a 2.
Goodness.
But
hey,
I
I'm
would
trying to
like
help you, buddy.
everybody to roll me initiative, please.
Oof.
Oh.
Thank God we can kill it so we don't have to flirt with it.
Well, I've had my good rolls out for the day.
That is... Yep. Great.
All right. So, do we have between 25 and 20?
No.
20 and 15? Oh, 15 and 10?
11?
Kinda.
Okay. City. 10 and 5?
I'm an 8.
I got 5. I just made it in. Just made it in.
Okay,
I got
so who
8.
has the highest dex between you and Nyx? I assume it would be Nyx being the rogue.
Probably. Dues is
My dex is an
14.
8.
Yep, so we have Nyx, Dew, and Finbar. Against all odds, with an initiative of 12, the plant zombie goes first.
It's like, oh my god, I've never moved this fast.
He's going to attempt to attack Sooty once more. Does a 15 hit you, Sooty?
No. It just
Okay.
misses.
So there's a shambling motion, and one hand comes up and he lunges towards you, but completely whiffs, as having plants for eyes is not great for trying to find your targets. Which will bring us to your turn, Sooty.
Okay, well, I think Sooty has already realized that she's not going to be able to talk to this dead thing. So, she'll just use a nice little, let's just produce flame. Let's just use a cantrip,
sweet,
and
yeah.
I'm just gonna... In the panic of jumping away, she's just gonna go, ah! And like... That's how you kill
Okay.
zombies, right? Set fire to them.
I mean, it's a pretty good way, yeah. Roll your attack.
Sweet. Well, that would be a 7.
No, unfortunately not. You are
In the panic.
panicked, confronted by this horrible, horrible image in front of you. You produce flame, but throw it about 3 feet wide.
Sorry.
Would you like to do anything else? Do you want to move?
Yeah, I'd like to hide behind due diligence.
Okay. I mean, this guy is right next to you, so he will get an attack of opportunity.
then she will probably just panic and then go, "Huh?"
Okay.
And a
So
little ball on the ground.
up next is Nyx. What are they gonna do?
They kind of look at all of their compatriots, look at the plant, and then they reach out and they touch it, and lightning springs from their hands.
Nice.
And I am going to cast Shocking Grasp.
Sweet. Is that a dex save or something from me? Or is it an attack from you? I think it's an attack,
It's
right?
an attack from me.
Yes.
I'm
So many spells.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think I just need a roll. So give me
Go for
one
it.
moment. It's a +4. Nope, a 7 is not going to hit.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh man.
You attempt to grab onto this thing, this man, this plant zombie, this horror culture, as Chat has come up with a great name for it. But it's just too gross. So you kind of like last second and don't manage to zap it with your energy. Dew, you're up.
Dew is going to actually do the same thing.
All right.
I must tase you, and I must tase you.
Tase me, bro.
Yep. Oh, a dirty 20.
Oh, beer. That hits.
So 2/8 lightning for 6 lightning damage, and it cannot take reactions until the start of its next turn. So,
Nice.
due diligence. I'm assuming he still has a hold of Sooty in some way. Yeah. Is going to back away 20 feet and take Sooty with him.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I can see that. Yep. So you still have Sooty's hook dangling. Just wheel backwards, roll backwards on those wheels. All right, which will bring us to Finbar.
Well, first of all, thank you to Duke Mirror for the raid. Welcome in, my friends. Finbar is going to draw his rapier and take a stab at it. Take a stab at it. Why not? This thing's
Alright.
awful. And I do not want it to exist in any world that I coexist. So, please die. An 8.
This thing, it's just low AC. Nobody
Oh my
can
god,
hit.
it's from like AC-10 as a zombie or something. Yep, I
Okay.
swing and a miss.
All right,
Cannot
so
kill
this.
you.
Are you going to back up, or are you just gonna stay there?
I will stay there. Why not?
Okay, well, as you're staying there and you attacked it last, you watch as it reaches a hand out towards you. And this is not the woodbark hand, this is the other human hand. As it does, it lifts up its wrist and vines shoot out of the wrist at you. And they're going to attempt to grapple you, so make me a athletics or acrobatics check, please.
Oh, I'll take acrobatics if that's okay. Finally, something over a
awful.
10. 21.
21, okay,
First,
so you see these coming, you definitely bat them away with your rapier before it has a chance to ensnare you.
Was
I
that
was just gonna...
an attack of opportunity against him, or
No.
was that the plant making?
It was-
okay,
that was-
I wasn't sure. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was just a straight up attack.
Okay.
And it's just gonna kind of stand there slack jawed staring at you as these vines just are on the ground now. Which will bring us to Sooty's turn. Madame Gandalf isn't here, so we'll hold her action, which will bring us to Nyx.
Excellent. It has taken damage at this point. Yes?
Yes. It has.
Okay. Nyx kind of grins this horrible, awful grin, and she points at it, and the sound of a bell starts ringing through the air. The creature needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
It's a -3.
-3, excellent. In that case, I'm going to be rolling 2d12.
Nice.
How to do... There we go. For 14 damage.
Nice. Okay, 14 damage. Nice, nice. This thing is very, very, very not wise, as you could probably tell. But there is a very pained expression that crosses its face as this bell rings. City, we held your action, so what would you like to do? You've been wheeled back 20 feet by due diligence, and you didn't get a hit because Dew managed to pop off a shocking grasp. So you are 20 feet away from the plant zombie. You have Finbar and Nyx right next to it.
Is there a way I could do fairy fire without hitting Nyx or Finbar?
Sure.
It'll just mostly go into the building. Who cares about who's on the other side?
All right, so she'll cast fairy fire with this bright, like, violet light. And the plant now has to do a dexterity saving throw.
Save. That is a 12.
Okay, so it fails.
And for the duration, they shed a dim light in a 10-foot radius, and that means that everyone will always be able to see it. It really doesn't do anything useful, but
I think if you're hitting it,
time,
if you're hitting it with melee, you get advantage on hitting it now because it's like glowing. So it's a shiny, pretty,
Very
glowy
easy.
Zombo now. Yeah, it's pretty.
You can't
Is there
miss
any-
it. If you miss it, you're an idiot. Plain
Is there
and
anything
simple.
else you would like to do with your turn, City?
stick her tongue out. Just
Mm.
she really is like a
Alright.
child.
Get him.
That will bring us to due diligence.
Sooty, mini boom. Okay now? Not big boom.
Yeah.
Mini boom.
If the bloom will not accept the conversation, then I guess that's the exception to the bloom before boom.
So mini boom.
If bloom
Um,
cannot be reasoned with, then boom.
Create bonfire. It needs to make a dex save. DC 15.
We're just breaking all the rules today.
It's a 10.
I know.
All right, so it's going to take 2d8 fire damage, and then it'll any creature that'll move into the 5-foot cube will have to make the saving throw. And anytime it ends its turn there, it'll have to make the saving throw and take damage again.
Okie doke.
All right, so. Oh, 7 points of fire damage.
Nice. So,
Any
due dili-
flammable objects, any
Go
flammable
ahead.
objects that are not being worn or carried are also on fire.
Gotcha. Well, because this guy is mostly comprised of plant, you can see that like the wood bark on his arm is starting to smolder as he stood in this fire. So Finbar, you watch as due diligence puts a metal arm out and creates this fire beneath this zombie guy, and he's starting to. It's fragrant. He's also glowing. It's very
Thank God
pleasing.
someone's doing something because I've certainly not been. Okay. Good job, diligence. I will try and hit it with a rapier again because that's what I do. Saving myself and my spells for later.
Constable Bob. I am Constable
Oh yes.
Bob.
Is there any point? Us. Right. I stab it on a dirty 20 for
Yep, that hits.
5 points of damage. Ha ha! I do it.
5 points of damage. So you just
I really need a
Stab
machete
this-
or some garden shears. Damn it.
Yeah, turns out piercing weapons not too great against zombies, but hey, damage is damage. and something was done. Which brings us back to the top of the round with the zombie. And so it started its turn in the bonfire. Or does it end its turn in the bonfire that the trigger is?
End its turn.
End its turn. Okay, so it's going to step forward. So it's out of the fire, but still within melee range of Nyx and Finbar. No, wait, it would leave melee from one of you. Okay, so it's going to step to the side closest to Finbar. So Nyx, you get an attack of opportunity. With advantage because it's glowing.
Excellent.
Oh, I forgot my +2.
Oh no!
Going to grin, and the bell starts to ring out again. It needs to make a wisdom save again.
That is a natural 20, which gets brought down to a 17.
It passes. The bell sound fades away.
Okay, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Okie doke. So it's going to lunge at you, Finbar, for an attack.
So rude.
It misses because I rolled a 4. And then that's its turn. Sooty, you're up.
There are two of me.
I guess Sooty will now go for something a little bit more damaging, and she'll use a flame spear. Flaming spear.
Nice.
Because she has now written down in her rule book, like the little thing of if Bloom, where is it? You could kind of see it there, written in the asterisk. But if Bloom cannot be reason-led, Boom is acceptable.
So, Boom! It's time to go Boom! She's a little thing who also likes to make things go boom, as well as Bloom.
So, she'll create this little 5-foot sphere, in that little
Nice.
space of the zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is that a save or is that a attack?
It is conjuration spell. So I guess creature. You had to do a dex saving throw.
Dex save. Nope. Fail.
Sweet. 2d6 damage. So, and I get my +2 to this with my wild magic surge thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a +2 on your first attack roll.
Because I didn't add it to my other attack roll, so I might as well go for this. So,
Oh, yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's a 9 total. Wasn't the
9.
best.
Okay.
It would have been worse
so
without that +2.
It sure would. This thing is looking super, super rough. One arm is hanging off. Half the vines are burned away from its face. Its jaw is even lower and slacker, as if something's dislocated. The white scientist coat is completely stained and burnt in places, which will bring us to Nyx.
You'll also hear Sooty yell out sorry as she hits it with the flame.
Nyx shrugs it off and will lean forward towards the Zombo and whisper something to it, smiling a crooked smile. It needs to make a wisdom save. If it has an intelligence score of 4 or less, I need to know.
No. It has a slightly higher intelligence score.
Okay.
But
Then it
the
needs
wisdom
to make
save,
a wisdom save.
The wisdom save was 12.
Okay. Then it is not affected. Whatever Nyx whispered to it, it doesn't seem to be bothered by it. And she just frowns and then steps back.
As you whisper, Nyx, you say whatever it is you're saying. You notice that its ear is literally full of dirt. Probably just couldn't hear you. Do Europe.
Is it on fire from the flaming sphere?
It's smoldering.
The little hose comes out,
Mm-hmm.
and the nozzle turns,
Mm-hmm.
and I cast grease.
Beautiful.
It's become a thing.
It is. It's the move now, isn't it? It's the tactic.
Yeah.
We'll go to.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because this thing is so low in HP, do you just spray grease onto the zombie? Finbar, you just you kind of get a spatter of it as it just onto the zombie. And there's a moment where it kind of just looks confused in the direction of Dew before some of the embers of the bonfire, and it goes to move towards Dew as the embers of the bonfire just catch the grease and it just goes up in an inferno. And you hear some rasping sort of cries as it just crumples to the ground and lands. And a dark red pool surrounds it.
What the hell was that thing, Sooty? And what were you doing with it that made it do that?
Well, see, it's
Clawing its
a little
roots.
bit like undead. Initially it just seemed really thirsty and said it was itchy. So I tried to give it water
Said it was-
and scratch its itch.
Right. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
For a while at least. That didn't work out well for us.
No.
Dew is all out of
Not
flour,
so much.
but he does have a fire extinguisher, so he will go over and put out the fire because he got in trouble the last time they burned something down. So
Go gadget fire extinguisher.
As you're having this conversation, Dew just wheels across in the back. It's big clouds of
Less
fire
paper.
extinguishers.
less paperwork.
But as you're stood around discussing just what entirely this was and what's going on, you hear a lot more movement from within the house. And Sooty in particular, you can recognize these sounds coming from the house. There seems to be a lot more of whatever that guy was in there. However, before you have time to process that, you hear shouts from the back in the garden further along the path where the tower was, or is, that you know.
The only way is forwards, I suppose, my friends. If there's anything more like that, we're going to have to try different tactics, though.
We must rescue the imposter, Constable Bob.
What? No, you're the imposter. Constable
I am
Bob.
Constable Bob.
No. Are you? Did we already save you? We are very good.
No.
We could have done that.
They sent me to rescue the imposter, Constable Bob.
Anyone else getting a headache from this?
Yes. Right. Just going to push forwards and worry about that whole situation later.
Before you do, Sooty, could you roll me a investigation check, please?
Apparently she's feeling super investigative today because that comes to a total of 21.
Ooh, okay. So you're kind of looking over this guy, just see exactly what the heck he is. And you sort of turn around to get another angle, and you look up, and you see a weirdly out of place sort of plant pot with a green looking herb sticking out of it, but there's also a glimmer of something else amongst the leaves.
Sooty's going to
Hey guys. For one, careful. This place is loaded with more of those zombie plant blah 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 things. Two. Anyone else see that little glimmer in there?
When she's pointed it out, you can see there's something
Yeah.
red amongst these leaves.
Nyx is gonna scuttle over there, which looks funny because it's Finbar looking like he's scuttling over there. It's very
That's shocking
undignified.
Very well.
Just like the Zoidberg.
Exactly.
Okay, Nix, as you approach the plant pot, you see that there's a rose in here.
Can I roll either like a medicine check or a survival check to try to figure out?
I don't think you need to make a roll for this. There's something obviously very strange about this rose. It's clearly more than just a rose. You're not entirely sure what it is about it, but there's something slightly off. It looks a bit like semi-artificial as you look at it.
Well, being chaotic good gets her in trouble. They're gonna pluck it.
Okay. As you go to pluck it, it doesn't move. It stays firm where it is.
Can they manipulate it in any way?
Yeah, so Nixie gets different angles, tries to grab it from different places, but it's not budging. Sooty almost seems to glow to you.
Sooty. Sooty. Make it do something. It's boring me. Make it do something.
Sooty will use well, I guess no, actually she'll just like kind of lightly go to touch it.
As you lightly touch it, it floats up out of the plant pot and into your hand.
Oh.
And as you grasp its stem, it transforms from a rose into a long whip with barbs all along the length.
Oh, I hope this doesn't awaken anything in me.
So it just likes you. Well then.
I believe Finbar gives lessons.
I mean, it's an art form, but I mean, Sooty picks some of it up along the way, you know?
You feel an almost druidic connection to this whip, Sooty. Will, can you just post in what it does to Running Gandalf?
Oh, yeah.
Cheers.
It's very pretty, I suppose. I mean, I'll give you a hand of the
It's got thorns. I don't think I can use this for what I wish I could.
Oh, no, you
You know,
can't.
as somebody who lives at the office, I don't get out much.
I find the uses for outside use uncommon, I'd say. So, you're in a good spot here. Well, we'll go over that later. Moreover, we should find this Bob so we can leave this place. I've got a very important dinner date tonight with Mallory Efsons, and she seemed very keen on giving me a spread. So, presumably some kind of platter of food. Nice spread.
Excellent. Haven't you dated her before?
Don't think so, did I?
Who knows?
Or did she try to kill you? It was one or the other.
It usually goes from one to the other. Yeah.
Well then, let's get this show on the road.
Bob!
Is the only way to the tower through the house?
No, it's through the gardens, but the path from the house led you really close, from the front of the gates to the back garden, led you close to the house.
Sooty will put the little rose in her hair.
Oh,
like behind her
that's
ear.
cute.
So it's just like, yeah.
So you make your way further along the path. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Constable Bob, who's not Constable Bob, starts rolling back down the path.
So you make your way back down the intended path that you had been told this hostage situation has occurred, and you can see at the base of this, you see it's quite a beautiful stone tower. There's a cordon set up, a makeshift cordon set up, wooden cordon, and there's a couple of heavily armored police officers here, and you see they have written on their back stars and a big gaudy logo. One has like a little beret. One has a huge crossbow that he's got kind of like slung over his shoulder. And as they do, you see one of them with like one of these little cones, and they say, "Dr. Punzel! Dr. Punzel, we've made a deal! Let down the hair and let us in!" And there's a couple of moments...
It is a Star Spangler manner.
There's a couple of moments of silence before you see what appears to be a long rope sort of dangled out of this window, which appears to be the only entrance to this tower. But as you get closer to the barricades, you see that this rope appears to be constructed of hair, but it's not all the same hair. There's different shades, different textures, and they're all braided together in one big, gross, macabre rope.
I want to know who does that hit.
You watch as these officers step forth and one by one climb up into the tower. And then the window closes and you hear screams. And one by one you watch as a beret gets spat out and a piece of armor, the giant crossbow, onto the ground.
How high is it to the window?
It's about 30 feet.
To the walls. To the walls.
Oh,
How strange.
I have some. I think I have something.
Oh. That's handy. I had nothing. I was going to walk back home.
Boom. No bloom. Boom.
I mean, that could work. I could get behind that. What does that
Boom is
mean?
an option.
Or ladder.
A ladder?
But it's
Now
only
that's
20,
like,
the ladder's only 24 feet.
how high is that, roughly?
30 is what you said?
Well, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall. So if I stood at the top of the ladder,
We
then
could
I would
climb you.
No, I would be there, you know? So
Which would allow
24
us to
feet.
climb you to go in.
Sure. Plus,
Nick's-
my 5.5.
I rip
Nick's
a patch
just
off of the
wanders-
rope, toss it on the ground, 24-foot ladder. Pop it up against the
Okey-dokey.
building.
What has Nick's got?
Nyx wanders over to the wall,
Mm-hmm.
touches the stone around it, carefully moves up the ladder,
Mm-hmm.
opens her handy haversack, and pulls out some pittons and starts driving them into the wall above the ladder.
Okay.
And then
As
she
you-
looks down and shrugs.
As you do so, I would like everybody to roll me perception checks.
Uh-oh.
Dear. Historically, not so hot on those. Ooh, that's not my roll.
17?
22.
9.
16.
Okay, so Seti, you and Nyx, you notice this. Finbar, you probably caught his reflection somewhere.
Yeah,
It happens. But you three notice that as Nyx is hammering in the pittons, the wall is oozing.
That's peculiar.
Oh,
The wall, it's oozing.
that is
Is it
unnatural
like-
for a wall.
Green
that is disturbing.
oozing? Blood oozing?
It's a dark, thickish substance. Could be blood, could be ichor, could be something.
Yeah, it's a
Nyx leans forward and sticks their fingers in it to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of rubs their fingers through it.
As you stick your fingers in it to test it, and you try to pull your hand back to look at them, you find that you cannot move your hand. It is stuck firm to this wall.
They look down. Do not touch the ooze.
That is something that we have learned with Finbar. Rule number 8.
Do
There
not
we have
touch
our
the
rule
ooze.
for this week. Do not touch the ooze.
It's not anything
This
I'm
is
proud
bad,
of.
okay?
Yes.
Okay, no touching the ooze, but if we were to go up this ladder, hopefully we don't have to touch the ooze while we're going up the ladder. Just touch the rungs.
Constable
Oh,
Bob, due
okay.
diligence. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
It's going to climb the ladder, pull off another patch, put it just above Nyx's hand, and a window will appear.
Okay, so as this window appears, Nyx, your hand that was stuck to the wall suddenly is free as a window appears.
They
You just-
will yank their hand back
Mm-hmm.
and go back to driving pittons into the wall very carefully.
Okay.
Maybe we could climb in through the window.
Actually, Nyx, as you pull your hand back from this window, you can see inside. And you're expecting to see inner chambers, maybe a room, a staircase, maybe, being a tower. What you see instead is something much worse. You see what appears to be internal organs on a very large scale. Instead of like veins, it's kind of like vines and stuff that are pulled into them, and they're just lightly pulsing.
Well, that's horrifying.
Officer,
Sooty dear,
Hmm?
this is your horrorcore. You should come take a look at this.
I agree.
And
Tom.
I scramble down so Sooty can come take a look.
What I said. I agree with me.
Indeed.
Such this is like
Mother of Taylor!
it's nothing you've ever seen before. This is not a plant. This is not a creature. This is something horrific between the two.
So he's gonna just like poke it.
Mm-hmm. As you do, like the internal organ stuff, like shrink back and jiggle. There's a horrible, like viscous sound as it does.
Constable Bob, are you in there? Not Constable Bob. I am Constable Bob.
Oh, what? No, I'm Constable Bob, but I am in here. Help me!
Oh my god, this is confusing. There are 2 Bobs
Oh
now.
my-
Which one's the real Bob?
I'm the real Bob.
How can we be sure? Tell us something only Bob could know.
I don't know. On you, Jack. He was my friend. We killed other giants together.
Never heard of this man.
What? No, Fibber, you were there, you know.
Could be an
Maylene
imposter.
bewitched me with her boobs. You were there.
Boobs.
Oh, that is.
Right. This could be the real Bob.
Thanks for the memories,
What are
buddy.
boobs?
What did you just say? Pardon?
It was well, it was a tricky situation. I mean, when I do say that she bewitched me with her boobs, that is a simplification of the situation. she did use actual magic, but
It was
it's
boob
funnier.
magic.
Yeah,
whole
it's
thing.
funnier if Bob thought it was the boobs.
Listen, Bob, the sooner we get you out of here, the sooner we can be done with you. So, what
Yes,
happened?
yes. No more boob magic.
Please,
I can't really
explain it.
I can't really say too much right now because I do have a very scary lady who looks very angry at me right now for all the talking, and I probably should shut up before she.
No! Bob! Who did this to you? Who did
Release
this to
the
you?
officer. Release the constable Bob, or we will be forced to burn you out.
Is there someone there with Bob right now? I'd like to speak with them as a reasonable person. While I do represent the police, I in no way represent the laws of this land or intend to enforce them in any way.
Or
So
is
you
he
can speak-
reasonable?
You hear a voice calling out to you. She says, "Bob's quite busy right now. He's not available to talk."
Listen, we've already killed one of your plant things, and we know that your wolves ooze. So you may as well tell us who you are and explain why you've stolen this simpleton. I mean, honestly, if you want to have attacked the TPD, then you could have chosen literally anyone else, and we would have cared more.
I don't want to attack the TPD. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay.
I know what you want. You're not going to take it. I've worked my whole life on this virus. You're not going to take it from me.
You have a cold?
It's like a flu. Oh, you mean the zombie people? Plant virus. Ah. Right. No, I've no intention of doing this. You see, as far as I'm concerned, that's like a pharmaceutical matter. And the one thing that I know is that we should not regulate anything to do with pharmaceuticals, let alone their prices, especially if they're important. So,
If you have
know,
a good
there's-
firewall.
Right. I mean, let it happen,
Indeed.
as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, Bob here, he's an idiot. Let him go, and we'll leave you alone.
No, you
Indeed.
all know too much. You all have to die, and then I can get away. And then,
My dear, you seem insane. Perhaps there is a tincture or potion you can take to cure your insanity.
you watch as this this woman sort of appears just above you, Nix, in the window frame, and she is a blonde woman. She looks very disheveled. She looks very tired, wearing typical scientist clothes, like a smart suit thing and a white jacket. And you watch as she takes a syringe, she shoves it in her neck, and then she leans against the wall. And Nix, you watch as vines and other miscellaneous plant things like come up and sort of enclose her body, and she seems to almost sink into the walls. And you guys on the outside watch as she sort of appears on the other side, but something is drastically wrong. She's horrifically mutated. Her head is pulled to one side and it's taut and screaming, and there's like a huge big bulb on her shoulder. Like, I have no other way to describe this except like the top of Bulbasaur. Like growing here. I couldn't think of a way. Like an unblossomed plant.
Bulbasaur right there.
Imagine
There's a
it's
bulb.
I like the
second
idea that
level.
it's bulbous sore. Like
It's bulbous and it looks pretty sore.
It's
it's a
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
Red,
And-
inflamed.
You, before you manage to do that due diligence, you watch as this tower begins to twist and mutate, and the window frame turns into a large mouth. These big spiny thorns appear in the shape of teeth, and like tentacles and tendrils start coming out of the side of this tower. And I'd like everybody to roll initiative, and we'll do due diligence's magic missiles because they were just like pa-pa, straight off the bat. So, let's roll some initiative.
Dear, oh dear. And thanks so much to Blue Jay for the huge raid. Welcome in, my friends. We've got playing some D&D at the moment. We're just getting into our boss fight against Bulbasaur. And in an hour's time, we've got City of Mist, the finale of the King's Castle with Blue Jay in there. So that is not the number of people. Shit. Come down, Twitch. Go follow Blue Jay. Do it.
Okay,
Wait.
so do we have this time? Are we better at initiative this
My
time?
initiative, no.
25 to 20?
Nope.
20 to 15?
Sorry, team. Oh my
15
god.
to 10?
11.
Hey.
Okay, so Nyx has a higher dex.
Finbars go at the same time.
Team Finbar.
10 to 5.
7.
9.
So City has a 9. And you has a 7. What
Oh,
is in
okay.
the initiative? Chris isn't even here anymore. Can't
We
blame
got
on
rid of
him.
him. Just to make initiative
Fired
better.
him.
It didn't work.
All right. So first up, Nyx, you are up a ladder next to this tower, which has turned into some sort of horrific sort of beast, and you can feel it breathing beneath you and see these tentacles and tendrils flailing out around. What would you like to do?
All right then. So I'm leaning up against a thing that's flailing below me. Is that correct?
It's not wild. It's not like a wacky inflatable flying arm man. It's just kind of breathing.
I'm going to use my movement to get down onto the ground because no thank you.
Smart.
And then I am going to use a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Would you say that they're both within a 15-foot cone of each other?
They're one now. They're like merged into one. So yes, it's yeah.
Okay.
It's
Excellent. I am going to use color spray.
oh,
So I need to roll a bunch of dice. So give me a moment.
yep. Go for it.
Where are the d10s? All right, here we go. 29. So the way this works is starting with the creature that has the lowest hit points.
Mm-hmm.
Each creature affected by the spell is blinded until the end of my next turn.
Okay.
We subtract the creature's hit points from the total before we move on to the creature with the next lowest hit point. So it sounds like it's one thing.
Yep.
Then it's blinded until the next turn, unless it's immune to blinding.
It is not. You watch as the tower sort of recoils a bit. And the tentacles seem to feel around the ground as if it's looking for something or someone. Finbar, you're up next.
I am going to cast my signature move, Thunder Wave.
Hey.
And I'm going to try Finbar's Thunderous Waves. And I'm going to attempt to do so in such a manner to hit evil, creepy virus lady and not my party members, as I learnt to their peril a few weeks ago. So it's a con save.
A con save. How much constitution did... Oh,
For a 15, I think.
it's a 6.
That's a failure.
Seems like...
So, doesn't seem like it's a failure. Oh man, I thought those were both ones. I was really fucking pissed. 8 points of damage, and they are pushed. I think 15 feet off on the way, but I can check
Well,
if it really matters.
unfortunately, this thing is too big to be pushed. It is, like, in the ground.
Okay. Yeah,
But it does take the damage.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, it may not technically be a creature if it's stuck in the ground. Yep, so I try, and I'm about to be really triumphant, and flee! Be gone! And it doesn't move, and just wind picks up everywhere. Shit.
It sounded impressive.
Yeah, felt impressive when I was doing it.
It will now bring us to the tower, and you watch now as the Bulbasaur on in the shoulder area of the woman who is now sort of merged with the tower on the outside opens up into a bright red flower that has an eyeball inside it. And you watch as this eye is kind of searching around, and you get the feeling that because it can't focus on anybody, it can't really see right now, but it's twitching and it's looking all over the place. And it's going to attempt to make a blind attack on Nyx. Because it's blinded, it has disadvantage, I believe. So that will be a 14 to hit.
Let me check. 14 is my armor class.
So it does hit, unfortunately. So
It
you
does.
you will take. Why do I roll high on damage and low on to hit? You will take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as one of these vine tendril tentacles comes up and luckily just slaps you right at the back of the head.
Well, I had it coming.
Alright, that will bring us to Sooty.
Okay, Sooty is going to use guidance and cast on due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
So I think wait, does that count as an extra or a bonus, or does it count? Like, I think that's my move, I believe. That is a cantrip.
Guidance. Let me double check.
I believe
No, it's
it is
one
an
action. Cast one action. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. Sooty's
That's-
just gonna go.
You could do it, due diligence, and
Like as she like pushes due diligence a little further forward, it's like casting guidance. Like
go on. You got this. I really believe in you.
so, yeah. You
That's
get
a
to add a D4
D4?
to your rolls. Yeah.
Excellent.
Alright. Anything else you'd like to do, Sooty?
She'll stay standing behind due diligence.
Alright. And that will now
She's got
bring
her
us-
own like Warforged shield.
This will now bring us to due diligence.
I'm a tank. If I got treads, I think I have treads. Due diligence, I believe, has probably already come down the ladder since Sooty's hiding behind them. And he looks at Sooty, he looks at Finbar, he looks at Nyx. We will save you, Bob. And he casts Fireball on the tower.
No.
So the tower needs to make a dex save.
Okay. Well, the funny thing is about towers, they're not especially dexterous. But however,
I've heard that.
this one got
lie.
a 15.
Which is exactly my save DC, so it'll take half of the 8d6.
Mm-hmm.
God.
7, 8. Okay.
Bizarrely dexterous tower.
Oh, jeez. So half of 35. For those of you who can't see the roll, that's 3 6s, 2 5s, a 4, a 2, and a 1.
So rounding down, that will be a 17. Yeah, because half of 30 is 15, half of 5 is 2.5, round down 2, so 17, yeah.
Yep.
So much more.
Mathematics. Mm-mm. Okay, so there's a explosion of fire at the tower. Yeah, okay, and that will bring us to Nyx.
Alrighty. Let's see. I'm going to try to cast another spell at it.
All right, get it.
That seems to be working fairly well for me. I lean forward and start laughing at it.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to make a wisdom save.
All right. That is a 12.
Okay. In that case, I assume that it has an intelligence score of 4 or higher.
Let me double check. It does just.
Just barely. Okay. It doesn't fall down, I take it, because it's a tower.
Mm-hmm.
But it does start laughing.
Okay.
Somehow.
So you hear, coming from this tower, and it comes out of the mouth of Dr. Punzel, who has emerged with the tower, a horrible sort of like guttural laugh. And it's not a good sound. It's bad. But the tower is laughing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Seems like it likes it.
And that will continue every turn until it passes a wisdom saving throw of it has to make a 13 or higher.
Gotcha.
So
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
nope, that's it.
Okie doke. That will now bring us to Finbar.
Well, any good Finbar knows that he needs to keep an invisibility spell ready for just such an occasion as this, when all reason has gone to madness, where his companions are casting fireballs, you're in a tower of virus zombie people, and Officer Bob is here. So I would like to exercise my right as a citizen of Talandia to completely lose all responsibility for my actions and become invisible.
Absolutely. And you do.
And I'm going to hide in a corner, which doesn't look like it might be fireballed in the near moment.
Okay.
And just let it all play out for a second, yeah. Really not
Finbar
my area of jurisdiction.
disappears.
I'm 3 hours and 10 minutes away from Talandia. It's not my call
Finbar
anymore.
disappears, and back in the distance you hear a rose bush sort of rustle as Finbar hides in it.
Is he
so,
2 weeks away from retirement now?
Maybe.
This Finbar robot is, for sure.
Okay, so that will bring us to the tower's turn, and you watch as this gross, massive eyeball just fixates on you, due diligence, and a pseudopod tentacle flies out at you with a 19 to hit.
Oh, let me check my ability real quick. Yeah, that's going to hit whether I do that or not. So, yes, that hits.
Okay, so you will take 14 points of bludgeoning damage as this tentacle flies out at you and hits you.
I just buffed the last dent out.
Actually, at the end of this thing's turn, it does need to make a wisdom save. And it makes that's a not natural 20, so it's no longer laughing. But I would like you all to make a insight check on the tower, please.
Ooh. 10.
10.
21.
21, hot dang.
12.
What was that, Will? What was
Four.
that roll?
Do I need to roll that? Because I'm invisible. So I'd like to remind everyone here, no one can see.
Due diligence, you study this thing for a second after it's just hit you, And it appears to be protecting that eye a little bit, as if it might be a vulnerable spot that if you did hypothetically hit, might do more damage. You think, maybe.
It's not made of rocks. It doesn't have a vulnerable. It does have a vulnerable spot. Yes. Okay. He knows what he's doing now.
All right. So that will bring us to Sooty.
Okay, well, so we're attacking this tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eye!
Well, this tower is probably made of
Stone, right?
From what you've seen so far, that appears to be an illusion or a disguise or some sort of falsehood.
Okay, so I couldn't do something weird like use meld into stone and just like become one with the tower to like attack it from within.
I mean, in terms of it being hilarious, we can let that happen. We could just, instead of you casting meld into stone,
That's
you
what
can
I
just
said.
get absorbed by the tower. That's cool. If you want to just be like, I know what I'm doing.
Sure, why not? Let's do that. Sooty's gonna just kind of like,
All right, I got this.
and just like run and become
He's like-
into the tower.
Yep.
Sooty, no!
She's become one on the tower.
Good lord.
Would it count
Saruman
as
has
using
to now.
Meldstone? Or can I
What was
do
that, sorry?
something else? Would it count as me using Meldstone there?
Nah,
Or I could do something else?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, from inside the tower, Sooty's gonna do her little big jump and stomp down and use Thunder Wave.
Nice.
Yay! Alright, so Constitution saving throw on a tower.
Okay, let's go. Ooh, that is a 22.
Oh yeah, that passes. That passes. So I'm just stuck inside a tower.
Don't mind me.
No, but you do half damage if it makes the save, so still roll
Oh,
your
that's
damage.
right.
The Warforged somehow manages to look both horrified and nauseated.
There's a green tinge to his metal.
Okay,
To his bronze,
That
it's like
comes-
copper.
it comes to a 12.
A 12.
In total, so halved, so 6.
Well, here's the thing. Because you are inside the creature, it's a kind of vulnerable in here. It doesn't have a thick outer hide. So the boom, and you all hear it from outside this creature, the boom, and you watch the flesh ripple for a second. As boom.
Gross.
It's very gross.
So he's gonna come out with like looking like that scene in like Carol Ann, don't walk into the light. Guts.
Hell is Sooty doing?
And next up we have due diligence.
Seems like a conscious decision.
Yeah, due diligence for a bonus action. Didn't realize that he could regurgitate innards, but he can. Having watched Sooty walk into this thing and then watch it go, and then he's going to cast magic missile at 2nd level at the eyeball.
Ooh.
Yep. So let's see. That's gonna. I think that ends up being 4. Yeah, 4. 4. So 10 plus 4, so 14 points of force damage to the eyeball.
Okay. So, as these darts shoot out at the eyeball, there's a horrific screech that comes from the tower, and the flower closes over the eyeball for a moment, and is still closed at the end of Dew's turn. But this was a substantial blow, and you can see like there's ooze coming down the sides of the towers now.
And Do will yell out again, "Go for the eyes! This is Do! Go for the eyes!"
All right, which will bring us up to Nyx.
Are there any other eyes?
Unfortunately not, no. There's only that one big eye on the shoulder of the woman which is merged with the tower.
Can I do something dumb?
It's D&D, so I encourage it.
Excellent.
Do the
You said
dumb
there's
thing.
You're Finbar right now.
You
Yes.
It's true. You said there's a mouth on the tower, right?
Yep. There is also, you are next to a window that Due Diligence made that leads straight to its guts.
True. Can I make an acrobatics check to dive through the window into its guts
Mm-hmm.
and then cast a spell?
Yeah, absolutely. So roll me an athletics,
All right.
acrobatics check to see how cool it is when you dive
Excellent.
into this thing's guts.
I can do that.
It's all a good plan.
13, okay, yeah. So Due Diligence, you watch as Finbar dives into this thing's guts.
All me. All me.
Copper is now copper and green. That green is just kind of spreading like copper that's been weathered.
Uh-huh. So what spell are we casting next?
We are going to once again cast Toll the Dead. And we're gonna do some necromancy shenanigans.
Nice, nice.
It needs to once again make a wisdom save.
Let's go. That is a 5.
Oof. Sucks to be the tower.
Let's see that
16
damage.
damage.
Okay.
16 necromantic damage as its insides begin to rot.
Owza.
Oof. Okay, so there is a horrific scream as you can see that from the window that you created, some of the internal organs which have been slowly pulsing away start becoming more erratic, and a dark blackness spreads over them from where Nyx dived in the window. Alright.
It's a good thing he doesn't eat.
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Right, Finbar, you're up.
So to be clear, I saw Sooty go inside the tower, get sucked into the tower, and then she was spat out again, or she's still somewhere in that
No,
vortex?
Sooty's still in there.
I'm in there.
Oh, go and join her. It seems like it seems like a plan. I don't know what's going on up there. I assume she's doing something smart. So
Okay.
I'm invisible, and one of me is already dealing with the situation as far as I'm concerned. So I can be elsewhere, just another one of the Finbar robots. Then I say, "I'll handle this," and then my home planet needs me, and I beam up into the tower with Sooty.
Okay, so because at this point Due Diligence is our POV character for what's happening outside, the rosebush near you says, "I'll handle this," in Finbar's voice. It rustles, and then you watch the tower as another, there's a Finbar-shaped hole appears and then is quickly enveloped.
Man, it's a party in
Who
the
is this?
tummy.
Dew is ashamed because Finbar's disguise was better than Dew's.
Oh. So, are you casting a spell in here?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave.
Okay.
Once we're in it, we have to go
Sooty's right
loud
next
the
to you.
problem. It's okay. An invisible arm grabs Sooty like Gimli at the Helm's Deep when Aragorn grabs you.
You're gonna have to toss me.
It's a long jump. And then I cast Thunderwave. And I'm hoping to blow up the tree from the inside. And the two of us are going to beam upwards together. Actually, it's actually like when Legolas starts to pull the two of them up against all odds. Yeah, that's what the plan is.
Okay, so that's an 11 on the save, which is a fail.
That's a fail. Yeah.
So roll your damage.
Okay. So ridiculous.
What's even
I
happening?
rolled 11 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh, I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, God. Okay, so there is yet another boom from outside as inside Finbar Sooty. Sooty, you notice Finbar is suddenly here because his ability drops as soon as he casts a spell. And the guts around you just kind of like explode apart and come together with a really gross wet slap. And due diligence out. And due diligence outside once more. The tower.
Perfect.
Yeah, muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I thought I had unmuted. Several more nuts, bolts, and the mixture of dirty oil and, radiator fluid.
All right, so it's back to the tower's turn. You watch now as this flower opens once again, this massive eyeball, and you're the only person left outside you. So guess what? You're gonna get a pseudopod to the face, with a 22 to hit.
Yeah.
And that is 11 points of bludgeoning damage. Boom.
The technically glass cannon, non-tack glass cannon wizard is still up.
I thought you were gonna say he's down. I was like, no. What have I done?
He's, for being a Warforged, he is still a wizard.
Inside the creature, Finbar and Sooty, you can feel a warmth at your feet, and there's a sort of acidic-looking fluid starting to collect on the floor around you. It's not quite got to you just yet, but it's getting there. You sense that maybe you are on borrowed time.
It's like that discerning feeling when you sit down on a toilet seat that's already warm. You know?
Yes. And you're like, is that wet? Or am I just making this horrible thing worse? Has someone peed on this seat? Or is this just bad?
Yeah, how long was somebody
Gross.
sitting here, like, before?
In this
me?
case, I
Like,
can say I did pee a little bit during that Thunderwave, but
Speaking
But
of,
thank
though,
goodness for that soak-in underwear from Finbar.
it's
For
absolutely true.
adventurers on the
Also, it
go.
wouldn't be warm. My pee is ice cold.
Like, yeah.
Finbar's fillable flannels.
Mm,
can we put a pin in that one?
like a
I'm
cool vodka.
Sooty, Europe in the initiative.
All right, so
Please
the
move this train wreck on.
Shaken. not
is
stirred.
I'm almost imagining, I guess, if we're shooting up into the sky and all of that jazz, that and it's going like with the Legolas, like miraculously pulling you out of the tower thing. I'm almost imagining that Sooty's probably at this point just climbed onto Finbar's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good old papa moment. So, Sooty's going to use guidance on Finbar. Like,
Okay.
she's there panicking and like holding onto his head, like, we just feel this, like, okay, I better look after this little thing. She
Now
is
I can't
terrified.
see. Ah.
Sooty, move your head. Like, just grabbing on like a boo and like to go through the magic card.
All right, due diligence, you're up.
It's getting warm in here.
Yeah, it's about to get warmer. Due diligence is going to cast fireball, and he is going to center it on the eye, because if nobody, he says, go for the eye, they go inside. He's noted to himself to take diction lessons, because I'm inside. Yeah. And yeah, he's casting fireball. So
Sweet.
I would like the tower to make a dex save, please.
It's a natural one.
So it's going to take full damage. Let's do this.
Good rolls. Let's go.
No. So, but it's 22 fire.
Okay, so, ooh.
But that's it, centered on the eyeball.
There is a huge explosion outside the tower, Finbar City. Nix, you feel it sort of rock the tower a bit, and you feel inside all the guts and stuff sort of constrict in absolute pain for a second, as again, a horrific screech. The flower closes once more upon the big eye, but it's looking really rough. The tentacles are a bit droopy. There's ooze coming out of it everywhere at this point. It's getting towards the end, which will bring us back to Nix.
Have we recovered the original Bob yet?
You're not entirely sure where Bob is from where you are. You're in sort of like a sort of free-floating
Maybe there's a real
body
Bob
cavity area. You feel like Bob's above you a bit.
This is gonna be gross, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I am going to swim through the organs looking for Bob.
Okay. So you swim up using your movement. You come across like a sort of membrane, but you can see just through it. You can see what appears to be Officer Bob, and he's like bound to the sides of this tower.
Okay, time to rescue Bob.
All right. So if you want to get to him, you're gonna have to like cut through this membrane, and we can count that as like an attack.
Sure.
You gonna do some damage to the thing?
I am going to use Shocking Grasp,
Okay.
if that's okay. I'm gonna touch
Yeah,
it,
go for it. Yeah.
and I am going to make it just wither away.
Nice. So that is a
roll on my part.
yes. It is. Yes. Every time I forget.
15.
15. We'll say that hits its innards. I don't think its AC really counts on the outside, in the inside.
Okay, that's 2d8. 13 lightning.
So 13. All right. So this does a heck of a lot of damage. Some may say it might do double damage, being the internal organs of this creature. And the membrane just completely disintegrates in the hole you sort of make. You make a huge puncture in it, and you see Bob there, and he goes, hello.
I strike a Finbar-esque pose and say, hello, idiot Bob, it's time to go.
Alright, can you come let me out though, because I am kind of stuck.
What's it?
But we can say you can free him and start making your way on your next turn, because you did your attack
Excellent.
and movement. Alright, so this will bring us to OG Finbar.
And Victor Dorian Drake, who gives me a wild magic surge, which I'll roll momentarily. GT says, hey Finbar, I love you. Get in line. Alright, then I'll roll my wild magic surge now. Just in case it's something extraordinarily useful. 4, 6, 2, 2. Okay, let's get this up. I am subject to... The next 1d4 hours seem like a dream to me. The next hour all seems like a dream.
Crazy
In fact, it
dream.
seems like a horrible nightmare is what it seems, having to come and save Bob for some reason. In this dreamlike state that I'm in, is there a clear way out that I can swim or run to with Sooty on my shoulders while I'm still invisible?
As Nyx cast Shocking Grasp, you did hear up above you and briefly saw a flash of bright light.
We said don't go towards the light, but screw it. And I'm gonna start heading towards the light with Sooty on my back. We're gonna make it, Sooty.
Alright.
We're gonna make it.
Is there anything else you want to do on your way there? Another spell, cheeky stab, or something?
If I can get a stab in,
Yeah.
I would do that.
The way we can flavor it as well is like you stabbing to get leverage to, make your way up.
Right, yeah. That makes
And
sense.
you have a plus
That's
D4.
a natural 20. Ooh. Alrighty, so that is 2d8s. God, I've moved my dice everywhere. I need to reset this. Alright. 2d8 plus 3, which is a total of 12 points of damage. So I sort of rapier my way through the tower.
Alright, but as you do, you manage to wedge your rapier in apparently something that's quite vital. As you do, there's a spurt of ooze that just flies out your direction, and you feel the tower recoil. Nyx, you feel it just lurch to the left. You watch as this tower just waves around. So it is now the tower's turn, and once again the flower opens with the big eye. And sorry, the other one out in the open, so it's gonna just attack you again.
Diligence, get them out of there!
That's a 14 to hit.
All right. As a reaction, I'm going to gain a +2 to my AC, which will take my AC to 15, which means it will not hit.
All right, so this time you're like, not this time, motherfucker! Boom! As the tentacles. I like to imagine that between the two fingers, like a shield appears. It's like a barrier between the two arms, and it just bounces off. Below you,
it's his
Finbar,
version of
Sooty.
shield.
Below you, Finbar and Sooty, you see now that the stomach acid is rising, but you were moving, so you're ahead of it, so you're good. Sooty, you're up.
Okay. Sooty.
So, okay, whereabouts did I end up after Finbar kept going?
So
am I
Finbar's
still,
climbing up. You are still on top on Finbar's shoulders. You're making your way up the tower through a hole that Nyx has just made. You're not quite there at the hole, but you've seen the hole that you can see now. What the hole that Nyx made, and you can see Nyx tending to Bob.
Can I possibly cast jump on Finbar?
Yes, you could. Yeah.
So then we can just be like, woo! And
Yep.
jump up.
I got
Alright,
you.
so I'll
Yeah,
just do that. I'll be grabbing onto his head, hopefully not blinding him at this point.
It's just like, just jump, buddy, just jump.
Yep, that's great. So you channel your magics into Finbar, and his legs feel extra springy, like he could jump very far. Which will bring us back to due diligence. The eye is open, it's staring at you, it's weeping dark ichor. This tendril's just tried to hit you. What are you gonna do?
Cast Create Bonfire on the eye.
He's okay. So that's a save, right? A dex save.
Yes, it's a dex save.
Oh my god, I got a 6. That's a fail.
All right, so it's going to take 2d8 fire damage on the eye
2d8 fire damage.
for a total of 13.
For 13, okay. Due diligence.
It's a 5-foot cube.
How do you want to do this? How do you want to kill this tower?
With fire. Burn it with fire. Yes.
Okay.
I cannot nuke it from above. I will burn it with fire. It's the only way to be sure.
It is. So, you funnel every frustration, all the panic, all the absolute horror you've seen today into this fire. You aim straight for the eyeball. Your eyes lock for a moment as you just force flames to burrow deeper and deeper inside it, and it pops. And it showers you in goop, and it takes everything you have not to just puke out everything in your compartment right then and there as you are coated in this foul-smelling ichor. Finbar, Sooty, and Nyx, you feel this pop from inside. It is an unpleasant feeling, and suddenly everything feels less stable in here. Things seem a bit shaky, a bit like it's maybe collapsing somehow. You feel you're all sort of tilting a bit to the left as it's going down. We'll keep initiative though, so you have time to do things. So, Nyx,
Due diligence would like to yell, "Run!" And due diligence runs.
My turn?
Nyx, you're up. Yep.
I grab Bob by his short, stumpy limbs. I'm assuming he's short and stumpy, at least with a name like
Oh, no.
Bob.
He's a hill giant. He's a
Oh.
big boy.
Well, I'm grabbing him,
Yep.
and we are swimming through the tower together, pushing out through the window,
Go me!
and
Okay.
as soon as we're out the window, I say, "You, tall boy, pick me up. We're running."
Okay, so you whip out a small dagger, you break the bonds that keep Bob tied to this wall, and you make your way out. As you do, you, tall boy, pick me up and running. He goes, "Okay, I got you." And he scoops you up into his big arms, and he smells terrible. And then he starts to lumber away from this tower as it's falling. Finbar and Sooty. Now, Finbar, Sooty did just cast Jump on you. So, this thing's coming down.
I roll around on the floor. No, I will jump with my newfound leg power.
Okay, so you hear Sooty's tiny voice telling you to jump. She's screaming it in your ear. You use this newfound energy, this newfound ability, and you see, as this tunnel is falling down, you see the mouth up above, and you see it for a moment lines up with the hole in the sort of membrane that Nyx made. And you take a second, you aim, and you manage to jump through both the membrane and through the mouth as this tunnel comes down, and you make a perfect 3-point landing as just a on the ground behind you. And it doesn't land with a cacophonous, not what I just said, thud, as you would expect masonry to fall. It's like a really wet, just like thud of flesh just hitting the ground. As you all stand now, coated in God knows what, the tower defeated. Dr. Punzel is nowhere to be seen. Her form seems to have completely disappeared from the tower.
Rule number 9. When in doubt, burn it out.
Now, I couldn't have put it better myself. Oh, wait. I did. Did we say Bob? Is he... Bob, are you okay? You still there?
I'm here, sir. Did I hit my head, or are there 2 Finbars in front of me right now? And, wait.
Idiot.
Oh no, Bob.
He points at due diligence. He goes, wait. Did they clone me?
Did they?
And then I take off the hat and I go, "It's me."
Oh,
thank God,
my
I thought there were
friend,
2 of
due
you.
diligence. Oh, you had me going for a minute there. Oh, you can't do that to me.
Nobody could replace you, Bob.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
true, Bob. You're one of a kind. A
Oh,
giant
yeah.
that doesn't
Coming up.
want to grind our bones to eat your bread or whatever it is.
You're very replaceable to me, Bob, just for the record.
A giant fire hose comes out and starts hosing everybody down.
Nyx shifts
Thank
back
you.
into his normal form, and he just kind of slips down to the ground as he's hosed off, and he goes, I don't have a strong opinion on you either way, Bob.
Well, I don't know you, so I don't have an opinion about you either. No offense, but we have not made friends yet.
I actually find that very offensive, Bob.
Well,
City?
Finbar, what you
I
do
find
a
you
lot of
very
times
offensive.
is also offensive. But do you know what? I'm a bigger man. I'll let it go.
This
You
has
would
all been a
think he
horrible
would have-
nightmare for me. It still feels that way.
He points at you, did you get my joke? I said, I'm the bigger man, because I am a bigger man than Finbar.
I did.
And he's just like,
I had
Don't
five
do jokes, Bob. Don't do
Nyx turns to Finbar. You think he would consider me a friend, considering I saved him? I suppose I'm not worth
Ungratefulness, I mean-
friendship.
that. It's this
Wait,
generation.
no, that is not
Their
what I
responsibility.
said.
I mean,
For
Bob,
me-
you've kind of a dick move here, dude. Because
No.
you got yourself in this trouble all on your own. We got you out of here. No one wanted to come and get you, and I alone convinced everyone here that you were worth everyone's time. Okay.
Roll an
Nyx just
deception
rolls
check.
his eyes.
Roll a deception check. Why, I'd love to. Just got a +9 on that one.
Sooty.
Plus
Remind me when
9?
we get back.
It's an 11. It's mediocre. My heart's not in it. Even as I'm lying about caring about Bob, I find it difficult.
Go, what were you saying there, Cleric?
Dude is going to have City remind him when they get back to check and make sure that the front desk is still at the front desk, because the way Nyx keeps changing, he's not sure now that Nyx isn't actually the front desk. We got tired of being the front desk. Because that makes sense to
My
do.
God. This whole time.
Meanwhile, with the Finbar and Constable Bob situation, Bob seems to believe you, Finbar. He's not a very smart man. Even though you didn't have your heart in it when you were lying through his teeth. And he says, well, thank you very much, friend. I would do the same for you.
Let's not use the F word.
Oh,
It's not appropriate.
So, is there, I want to understand that for successful crimes being solved and stuff, that there should be a reward. So we want some donuts on me. As a thank you for rescuing me.
I didn't do this for donuts,
I
Bob.
think these donuts.
I did this for career advancement.
I don't.
And also, I've got a date now. So you guys have a great time with your donuts. And good on you. Good work, team. You're welcome. Tell the captain that it was all me, or one of me. And I'll let you guys know how the modeling gig goes.
Nyx winks
I
at
know where
Finbar
you
and goes, call me.
I have your numbers.
And as you all make your way out of the area that's cordoned off, a large black carriage rolls up, the window rolls down, and Finbar, you see Marley Effersent, who looks a lot like shit, what's her name? Never mind. Her in The Devil Wears Prada, anyway, that one.
Oh God, no!
Meryl
What have you
Streep?
done to me?
Meryl It's Meryl Streep. She has a very large pair of sunglasses, and she says, "Good day,
Yeah.
darling."
Yeah, I do. I am going to Paris. All right.
Sooty is going to like grab like his tailcoat just like a little bit there.
Don't forget protection.
And she'll cast guidance on him again.
Always count on you.
And as Finbar is wheeled
Keep it
away
safe.
for his hot date, that is where we will end our session for tonight.
Hooray!
Hooray!
We did it, team! Oh my goodness.
I think Dude's going to need a complete overhaul at this point.
It's a damaging episode. The number of levels. Oh my god, that was fun.
That was so much
my
fun.
friends. Yeah, loved it. Couldn't have loved it anymore. Thank you guys, and thank you, Susie, for DMing that game for us. Man, that's let's wrap things up for tonight. We've got another show starting in a couple of minutes' time, which is the finale of our City of Mist show, The King's Hustle, and shit is about to get all kinds of real and dramatic, and I'm stressed just thinking about it. So stick around for that one here on Encounter Roleplay, but let's go around the cast and the crew. Did we enjoy ourselves, and where can we find you folks online? Let's start with our fantastic DM, Susie. How was that tonight?
It was great. Thank you all so much. That was a ton of fun. You know, as I said earlier, any sort of similarities to any existing IPs is completely coincidental and not at all anything you can get sued for. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm Susanna Grace, otherwise known as Susie, and you can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I am a variety streamer who does art streams, video games, TTRPGs. I am on this channel a bunch. I'm here tomorrow, actually, at 10 p.m. GMT for Act on Cthulhu as a player, so you should tune in for that. I'm also on WebDM on Sundays at 8 p.m. GMT, playing a vampire in the 80s. Other than that, you can find me on twitch.tv/Susanna Grace, which is where all my content is. And I do have a pinned tweet, so you should follow me on Twitter, because that's where all my stuff is. But yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Fantastic. And Raz, how was that tonight for you? And where can we find you online?
I am available on Twitch, twitch.tv/Void Melodies. I stream on Mondays, games, Tuesdays, art, and Thursdays, writing. I'm also available on Twitter at Void Melodies, which did not make it on the the Twitter announcement today, but hopefully for future games. I look forward to coming back, and thank you so much.
Fantastic. Madame Gandalf.
Hi! Hello! It's always good to bring Sooty out of her desk and into the real world and into due diligence and into a tower and on top of Finbar and just, you know, missing Milene as well. So, you know, it's been a good day for Sooty. She got to do all of her weird Sooty things in her weird Sooty places at her weird Sooty times. And that's all I ever ask. That's all I ever look for in a campaign, you know, it's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted. Single tier. So thank you so much, Susie, for putting up with the weird antics and the weird, requests I have made.
Can I get inside the tower? I want to be inside it.
Yeah, I want to be inside the tower. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. And yeah, my name is Madame Gandalf, a variety streamer here on Twitch. We do cooking, singing, face painting, D&D, variety of games. I also do a talk show over in this place, and D&D over in this place, and over D&D over here in this place. And so yeah, just look for me on Twitter under everything is Madame Gandalf with an E, because it's not I am Madame for Gandalf. It is I am married to Gandalf, Madame. I just want to make that clear. Yeah. So go on by the Green Dragon Tavern and have a drink on me. We'll have a good time.
Like Galadriel and the Hobbit, for some reason.
Exactly. Yay. I don't know. Yeah, what happened there?
That was a thing that happened.
We don't talk about the Hobbit. I will get on.
Yeah, let's not get started. It'll be another 3 hours. Madmore, thanks so much for hosting City of Mist here in a couple of seconds' time. Amazing stuff. Clerical, last but not least. How was that today?
Oh, that was a blast. Literally. Lots of boom.
Lots of boom.
Lots of boom. Do is happy. I am Kat, also known as Cleric of Cord. You can find me on the Twitters. I have a pinned tweet where I am playing D&D TTRPGs on various streams 6 days a week now. So check my pinned tweet. That's where you'll find the different channels. One of them are the Sunday game, actually. We will be doing a giveaway, so if you want to come watch us over there. Or you can come back on Mondays and watch me here at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, playing a Sister of Battle in Inquisitor Warhammer 40k, where I hit things, not with fire. I just hit them with a big sword. Take their heads off, heretics, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a little...
Just church things, really. Yeah.
Yes. But it's all for the Emperor. So anyways, that's me. I'm at Cleric of Cord. Check out my tweet, and thank you for coming out, everybody. This was a blast. I love this, literally. Fire, all the fire.
It cleanses.
Go for the eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to be back, of course, next week, same time, every week here, 5 o'clock Eastern. If you want to come along and play with us, !play there in the chat. Check it out on our website. You can join the Discord to have some discourse and to sign up to play in this game once upon a time as well. Can't wait to see you guys and play with you one of these weeks. But it's time for some City of Mist, my friends, so let's get into it. Until next time, try not to roll too many net ones. We want to be there laughing when you do. Good night, everyone. Bye.